Good evening, listeners, brave navigators of the enigmatic and the concealed. Have you ever felt the pull of the unanswered, the allure of the mysteries that shroud our existence? For more than a decade, a unique comic publisher has dared to dive into these mysteries, unafraid of the secrets they might uncover. This audacious entity is Paranoid American. Welcome to the mystifying universe of the Paranoid American podcast.
Launched in the year 2012, Paranoid American has been on a mission to decipher the encrypted secrets of our world. From the unnerving enigma of MK Ultra mind control to the clandestine assemblies of secret societies. From the awe-inspiring frontiers of forbidden technology to the arcane patterns of occult symbols in our very own pop culture. They have committed to unveiling the concealed realities that lie just beneath the surface. Join us as we navigate these intricate landscapes, decoding the hidden scripts of our society and challenging the accepted perceptions of reality.
Folks, I've got a big problem on my hands. There's a company called Paranoid American making all these funny memes and comics. Now, I'm a fair guy. I believe in free speech as long as it doesn't cross the line. And if these AI-generated memes dare to make fun of me, they're crossing the line.
This is your expedition into the realm of the extraordinary, the secret, the shrouded. Come with us as we sift through the world's grand mysteries, question the standardized narratives, and brave the cryptic labyrinth of the concealed truth. So strap yourselves in, broaden your horizons, and steel yourselves for a voyage into the enigmatic heart of the Paranoid American podcast, where each story, every image, every revelation brings us one step closer to the elusive truth.
Okay, we got another one. Thanks for coming in. And by the way, if you don't know, we're already on audio too. A bunch of people keep asking me, when can I listen to this on regular podcasts? If you go to Spotify, Apple Music, all the places, and you search for Paranoid American Podcast, you can find me now. So you're welcome. I finally did it. I signed up for it. And today I got a special guest named Simone. I'll throw her on the stage here. I'm going to go off camera too, just so that there's no pressure on anybody. But I am down here. I'm not an AI android yet, but I'm going to get there. So, oh wait. Now we'll both be on camera. Let's do that.
Hey, here I am. I wrote today.
So I wanted to say that Chai is one of the artists on. I'll turn the light on really quick here. This isn't even out yet. This is coming out soon. This is the Illuminati series, and actually, you probably can't even see it all the way down here. So let me do the smart thing and pull this up here. And I've got Illuminati issue 3. There's 4 different episodes in it starting out. And here's the one that Chai worked on. And the writer, forgive me for Natalia Liminosa. I'm already out of here. So anyways, this is the comic we worked on, but Chai's been working on way more than just that. She's got a other comic under her belt. She's got a movie. She's got all sorts of stuff, music group. I saw pictures of her in a bathtub full of blood. We're going to get into all kinds of stuff. So first of all, welcome to the show. And please tell people where they can find you right off the bat.
Hell yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for having me on. This is super exciting. I love everything you have going on. That's super fun. But yeah, I'm just here. I'm a born and raised Vegas native. They call us unicorns because we're so rare, apparently. But I do stuff here and there. I'm a storyteller first. That's what I consider myself. I do screenwriting. I do filmmaking now. I do a lot of art department shit. So I do creature design. I do have a book under my belt now, which is just another meat-eating dirtbag written by Michael Anthony. That's my first graphic novel. Also very, very fun, amazing experience. And we're dropping our little short film soon. That's also going to be in an anthology. It's about vampires. And yeah, I also do fun creative photo shoots concerning like bathing in blood in a bathtub and all of that. So that's the stuff.
We'll get to that. Don't jump all the way to the end. We gotta tease the cool stuff. But the movie that you're talking about, it's called I'm Everywhere. And can you tell me? That's about as much as I know. And I saw the cool cover. But what is that?
Yeah, so I'm Everywhere. I was actually brought on to direct what is a prequel a little prequel short to Lourdes Ferre's Lord to Darkness. So basically, it's about kind of her journey as being a woman in the film industry, but it's put together as a dark fantasy, and it's about vampires. So basically, what I'm Everywhere is about is you have this vampire named Victor, and he wants to break into the film industry in order to kind of satiate his ego, but also as a strategy to try and overtake humankind and rally vampires together. He also happens to be a super narcissist and have a complex and all of that on top of being a vampire. So we see that. We see him basically annoy the living shit out of people, and we also get to see his origin story. So we got some blood, and we got some vampire tantrums. I was very inspired by the likes of the Nicolas Cage movie Vampire's Kiss and American Psycho. And that was a lot of fun, and should be releasing it here pretty soon.
You'll be getting extra bonus points for bringing up Nicolas Cage, so keep doing that. That serves the audience well. Everyone loves Nicolas Cage.
I got an arsenal of Nicolas Cage knowledge. He lives here, so.
Do you man, I got so many questions to go. So first of all, you said it kind of traces the life of a woman in the film industry. Now, is this behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, all the above?
Mostly behind the scenes. So it's actually inspired by the creator Lourdes's real life experiences, having to deal with narcissism in the workplace. I can't get too into it because it actually gets pretty freaking scary and personal. But the character Victor was actually based on a real person who I believe actually threw something at her on a film set. And just the general unprofessionalism that she's had to deal with. And I got run on, and I can also relate because having been on film sets, I have encountered a lot of scary, gross, nasty unprofessionalism. So this is our way of coping with that, is literally making them into a vampire.
Let's say we're in the game Minecraft right now. We're no longer in the real world. Can you get into any detail into like what some of the weird and like gross, nasty stuff is that goes on behind the scenes to somebody else in Minecraft, not necessarily to you?
Right. Well, so you have a little creeper dude, and he comes up behind you, and he rubs your back, or they manipulate you into doing stuff on set that you don't really want to do. I say also in Minecraft, you're going to a university. There's a little university set up, and the professors also happen to be creepers, and stuff like that. Just definitely, I think there's a lot of misogyny that goes on in the workplace. There is, a lot of racism that also goes on because we are Asian women, and just a lot of that icky, gross, nasty stuff. But being representing it in the movie was definitely very freeing. Because we took it to the Nicolas Cage route, where we just made him just kind of a dick, but you're also just kind of supposed to point at him and laugh because it's just so fucking absurd. Sorry.
Over the days, completely over the top. And how would you compare, say, like the music industry, the film industry, and comic industry? Are they like roughly the same, or are they wildly different in some ways?
Wildly different. Definitely wildly different, dude. Thankfully. I mean, definitely between the music and the film industry, those are big art industries where you find a lot of just people. It is okay to swear, right? I should have asked that before.
Well, yeah, this show actually does air for 9-year-olds in classrooms, so be careful with your words.
Educational material.
Yeah, we don't want to lose any of our fucking sponsors, so be careful.
All right, I freaking got you. But yeah, it's so in the film industry, it's just a lot of people jerking each other off. There's a whole hierarchy to it and everything, which is why I participate in the film industry when I want to, not necessarily as a job. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I tend to just avoid all of that stuff as much as I can, because people get very egotistical, and then they want to profit off of each other's ideas and try to network for the sake of networking and taking advantage of people and just all that stuff. The music industry, you have a similar sort of thing happening, but I think we all know most of it is artists being taken advantage of corporate hacks. But as far as the comic book industry goes, as far as I've experienced, it's been amazing. And I think things like the pandemic, again, in my experience, were actually, I think, kind of helpful, or at least there was a lot to learn during that time when everything was digital. It was all on Zoom. I'm pretty sure we started working together during that time. And thankfully, I did get a lot of work. And that's why I decided to do comic books, because going out and working out there while, all of that stuff was happening was just not the vibe. But everyone that I've encountered in the comic industry has been amazing. Like my writer, Michael Anthony, he's an amazing guy. He's hilarious. He's super inspirational. He's always helping other people and lifting other people up. Like, it's a lot of people like lifting each other up and just legitimately enjoying stuff. And not that doesn't go on in the other industries, of course, but
and to be clear, this is the indie comic industry, not necessarily Marvel, DC.
Well, we don't need to. I don't need to break into that or anything, but definitely indie comics.
What about like the big film industry versus the indie film industry? Is it just like miniature versions of egos, but it's the same thing, or are they different?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really got to be careful of who you work with, and then it's also the kind of stuff where it's just like making films is some of the hardest things that you could ever do or ever make, and it takes a lot out of you, no matter what position you're in, whether say you're a grip and you're doing lighting or whatever, and then you have to communicate with this person in this department. Oh, what are we trying to evoke or go for? There's the art departments, there's everything that the director wants, sometimes the right, sometimes the wrong, but you have to do what they say. But then you also get people undermining the director, which you're not supposed to do, because the director's there for a reason, to guide the vision and all of that. And then, like I said, just people taking advantage of each other, getting frustrated with each other. You see a lot of I'm really talking down the film industry, but that's how it is. You really have to be careful about who you're working with, and really, I think, take care of the valuable relationships, like work relationships or friendships that you make there. And you really have to protect yourself above everything else. It's scary. It can be a scary industry.
I think you bring up a really good dynamic here, because I worked at Disney for 10 years doing all sorts of different post-production stuff. So I know exactly what you're talking about. And one of the maybe it's a bad analogy, I think it's a good analogy, but a lot of the time when you're working on like a movie set or like a huge creative project, it's not like running a regular restaurant where you've got like a chef and a sous chef and like expediters and everyone. If you imagine like a movie or a lot of these creative things, imagine a restaurant, but every person in the restaurant is also a chef, and they all like have like their secret ingredients in their belts, and they're just like, man, if someone just gives me a shot and sees how I put this dash of salt into the pot, they'll make me the head chef. But everyone kind of feels that way, and it's such a weird environment to be around. Yeah, where it's I don't know, it's a surreal environment, and I don't know if I'll pose it as a question instead of a statement. But do you think that it's possible to get anywhere in Hollywood or in film without having like a crazy over the top ego and be a narcissist and not just be a unicorn?
I think, it definitely is possible to get somewhere, but you have to either you're the luckiest person on earth, and someone points at you, they're like, I'm going to change your life, and here's an opportunity, like go for it, or whatever, whether it's directing a movie or acting in something, or it's about who you know, or having money, which is kind of the same thing.
What about the Illuminati? Do you think the Illuminati is running Hollywood and they're making the decisions?
Oh, there's definitely somebody puppet mastering everything back there. And I say this also as a film critic and having to watch all of these big Hollywood movies. everything is being manipulated. Everything is definitely, but that's what film is, and that's kind of what art is on some level, is manipulation.
If you don't, I'll pose this as like a statement first, and I'll ask what you think about it instead of like asking if you heard about it. So shout out to my friend Juan who brought this up, which actually came from Jay Widener, who did like a bunch of these Kubrick Room 237, where he links Kubrick to the moon landing and stuff. I don't know if you've ever seen any of those, but he has this really. Have you seen that one?
I have not. I've heard a lot of different things about the documentary, so I'm not sure if I want to delve into it, but I've heard a lot of the theories, and I love like delving into like, not the Wendy theory, we don't talk about the Wendy theory, but
yeah, the 237 documentary is like I think it's 3 different approaches on what The Shining meant and how it was linked to certain things, and one of them is about like Native American spirits, and one's on something else, but one of them is by Jay Widener, and he thinks that The Shining was Kubrick telling the world that he was involved. Anyways, that's a separate issue, but Jay Widener also has a really cool theory that movie theaters are designed to simulate the process of death, where you go inside of this dark theater and all set, like, you're not allowed to make any noise. Like, you have to actually pretend like you're dead for a small moment of time. And that this like little enclosed space, it's almost like a mausoleum, right? And then they play this big thing on the screen, and you're like vicariously living through somebody else's life. And just him describing that process, it's almost like that's why the rules are the way they are. And that's why the movie theater is such a weird, sacred, and unique place, is that you're supposed to be going through the process of death and rebirth in a physical metaphor. So anyways, what do you think about that, Jay?
I think that's actually really beautiful, because like that is what films and stories are for, is to I mean, just today I was like, I had a crazy weekend. I just want to escape. So I rewatched The Wrestler today and cried. That was amazing. But I think have you ever seen Soylent Green?
Oh yeah, the 70s version, right?
Yeah, the Charlton Heston movie. One of my favorite like sci-fi movies of all time. Great freaking bad people or whatever, people and all that. But there is this one part, like, kind of spoiler, I guess, but I guess I'll try and be as light as possible. But there is this one part where it's shown how people are like put to sleep, or like you consensually euthanized or whatever, and they put them in a room. They put these pretty visuals on, and then their favorite music and their favorite color and all of that stuff. So I think that's a really interesting, that's what pops up in my brain. But that actually sounds lovely, the way that that's put. I'm for that.
Do you think there's any like nefarious, like legit subliminal messages that are added into movies? And I don't just mean like, Disney wants to sell product, but do you think someone's going in there and like, I want to make people murder people, or I want to make like, I don't know what the specific, and maybe beyond just the Tyler Durden, single dick frame.
Yeah, no, that's immediately what I thought of. Absolutely. And like I said, on a level, filmmaking is figuring out how to manipulate the viewer, but also communicate with them. And you could do this with through a lot of means and everything. So working in the art department, you have wardrobe, you have color, what's in the background of a character's bedroom or whatever. And then sometimes A24 movies recently, which I really enjoy, do this a lot, where they just put shit in the background and you are forced to rewatch everything. Kubrick did it to an impossible extent, and people are still trying to freaking figure out what what the hell he's saying, if anything, or what elements are going on in the background. Eyes Wide Shut is a really great example of that too, where he's saying a lot, but he's also like, here you go, and all of that. But yeah, definitely.
They killed him anyway. He was trying to be vague, but they killed him anyway for that one.
Mm-hmm. No, literally, he tried to be vague, but also not at all. And there's, oh my god, the Eyes Wide Shut theories and like the little details and stuff. I still got to look into it more. it's a much fucking darker movie than
Well,
it
he
even.
actually did. Yeah. Shout out to my friend Andre Zertis, who has done like some really, and David Charles Plate of the Sync book does a whole bunch of really cool things on this one. But one of the interesting ones is that he shot that in the exact same place that the surreal dinner balls of like the 70s were shot in. And I don't know if you've ever seen these weird pictures where Salvador Dali's like hanging out with all these people at a dinner table, and they've got like the dead baby doll, and some lady has like a deer head, and another person has like their head in a big bird cage. They had these surreal dinner balls at this Rothschild mansion, and that was the exact same place that he shot his movie in those scenes. And when you know enough about Kubrick, you're like, nothing was just a coincidence. Like, it wasn't just that that place happened to be available. He probably had his eye on that place and wanted to shoot it for that reason.
Oh yeah, he definitely he probably wrestled his way into using that mansion. He's like, I'm not going to do it otherwise. I can imagine him being that way. What an
He must have
interesting.
had some blackmail on some of these people, because he probably heard all kinds of weird Hollywood stories and knew people's dirt in and out.
I mean, they killed him
after The Shining. He said he never wanted to work with Jack Nicholson again, or like his limo driver also said he never wanted to like drive Jack Nicholson anywhere again.
Oh Jesus, I don't know if I even want to know. Jack Nicholson. Ugh. I remember as a kid, my mom showed me this movie called The Witches of Eastwick, and he is the most disgusting, like, piggy man like that could ever exist. He plays the devil, and he's just like disgusting, and I don't know, his eyebrows are arching to the heavens, he's got his gross smile, and he does all these disgusting things in that movie. And I just reference. Like,
he's also a werewolf in Jack. He's also like that really horrible person with Helen Hunt. I can't remember the movie where he's got like OCD or
something. As good as it gets.
As good as it gets, is that what it is? Yeah.
I hate it. I was like, why are you?
Like that might be like if you mushed those three people together. And I mean, wild speculation here, but I'm almost positive that the whatever got Roman Polanski basically like blacklisted, where he had to move out of the country and people are like on his ass, like that was actually happened at Jack Nicholson's house. So, you know, it was like one, like Polanski took the fall, but it was a bunch of naughty Hollywood creeps, you know, doing stuff.
Good Lord. I think I did hear about, I watched a brief documentary on the whole Roman Polanski thing. And I think certain things did go down while Jack Nicholson was actually still there. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, shit.
What about, speaking of Polanski, what about like the Manson murders? Are you up on to any of that at all? Because I mean, you're into horror and you got like, you know, vampires and blood.
Okay, so you know what boggles my mind about Polanski is that motherfucker is the same dude who directed Rosemary's Baby and Repulsion, which is terrifying and very, very strange to think about, considering what he did to women and what he did to young women and all of that. And it's what a weird freaking like storyline, that what weird fucking lore that guy has. But he made these films about women and about like the horror of being a woman. But then he's also like committing that shit to that shit. So I don't know. And then the whole thing with the Manson, which is funny. I was just, I don't know what it was. I was just thinking about Sharon Tate and the Manson murders the other day, and just how unfortunate that, yeah, it's in my memory forever. And just how sad, but also just weird karma, not even karma, that there's something just very, very, I don't know, the whole thing is just bizarre and strange. And then there's just so much that came out of that. Recently, I watched a film starring Hannah Murray about the Manson girls, and then what they went through, how they were groomed and manipulated, and how they were just kind of stupid and allowed themselves to be manipulated by Manson and all these things. And then
what's the appeal with Manson? Do you know what it is? Like, do you sense any of it? Like, you know, that if I was around in the late 60s, he kind of is talking some cool stuff. He plays a guitar pretty well. Or is it like just, you know,
the whole counterculture thing where, you know, you have someone who pretends like they know everything kind of thing, and it's just like, oh, like this normal culture sucks, and they prey on the shortcomings of those things, and of normal American society in the 60s or whatever. You had the hippie movement and all these things in NAM that happened, but then you also have like the boom of psychedelics and all these cool drugs and everything. My grandma, she was a Woodstock grandma, which I was very surprised to hear. But
What is that?
I
What is
mean
a
that
Woodstock grandma? Does that mean she was a grandma while she was at Woodstock, or?
oh, she was at Woodstock in her prime.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, oh, good for you,
Is
grandma.
that where your mom came from? Did your mom come from grandma's home at Woodstock?
Something like that. I actually do have information
Have
on
you
that.
done the
It's
math?
huh?
Have you done the math to figure that out?
No, my grandma straight up was just like, well, me and your grandpa, we were really high, and that's how your mother was saying. She was like, that was some good weed back then. I'm like, oh, okay, grandma. I'm like, grandma,
Let's get you
have
to
you ever
bed.
done let's get you to bed.
Yeah.
Actually, I was going to bed, but yeah, she's cool.
Give grandma some dabs and see if she feels the same way.
Yeah. Hey, grandma, here's a tab. Do you want some?
Do you think that was legit? Do you think that Woodstock was a true counterculture movement?
Yeah. Just because of the community and the people involved. Not everything about it. I think it was when counterculture really started becoming something that people, not that it never existed, but younger people were really starting to flock to, and the film industry was changing, media and everything was changing too. Like things were getting more graphic. You were getting like nudity and like big mainstream films all of a sudden, and video nasties started becoming a thing and all of that. So yeah, I would consider it counterculture as far as my surface level knowledge goes.
Completely different topic. What do you think about superheroes and spandex?
Probably superheroes and spandex. Just
Like,
generally.
like, Superman, Spider-Man, like all of the superheroes that wear spandex.
It seems impractical, but it looks good. I think they're just showing off. I don't think the material is necessarily practical. But The Boys also talks about all of that in costuming and stuff, which I loved. How like the Deep and Homelander very obviously wear cups and padding to make themselves like give themselves a bigger bulge and all that, and then how they dress Starlight to look a little sluttier and sexier and all of that, and Queen Maeve and all of that. I'm not the biggest fan of it.
Of superheroes or of The Boys or of all of the above?
Superheroes in spandex specifically. That's if I were to design superheroes, that's not the route that I would be going.
What route would you go? If Marvel came to you and they were like, we're revamping our whole, I don't know, like if you read old comics, but like in the 70s, right? Everyone had those big boots that like folded down and like bell bottoms. And then in the 90s with Rob Liefeld, everyone got cargo pants and pouches like all over the place. And so like what would be the Chai Simone superhero aesthetic?
I'm a huge I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan, but I take a lot of inspiration from Punisher, who isn't technically a superhero, but I just like the grittier, more like I don't want to be conspicuous kind of thing. Like that would be my superhero. It also depends on what their powers are or whatever they go by and their situation or story is. But I like the idea of a superhero who's just trying to blend in and doesn't want any attention to them, because it kind of seems counterintuitive also to be a big name as a superhero or something when you can just be working and doing superhero things.
Do you follow the same logic for a vampire? Let's say you're like a vampire. Would you just have them blend in?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What are the top 3 vampire designs?
Ooh. Okay. I think my number one, Queen Akasha from Queen of the Damned. Aaliyah. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, this is like 2000 and what, like 2 or something.
Yeah. I listen to that soundtrack all the time. And, not that it's exactly practical, but the way that she actually is supposed to stand out, and she's like this almost like goddess figure. Like, that's super powerful, and it's such a fun freaking design. Crap, number 2? Oh, wait, he's not technically a vampire. I just keep thinking about Nicolas Cage. Screaming, I'm a vampire! I'm a vampire! Oh, what else? Oh, you know what? I think my second favorite vampire design or vampire character per se is probably the kid from Let the Right One In, because it's the whole thing where it's like it's a kid and they have this whole backstory, and I don't know, it really shows kind of, I don't know, just all the stuff that they went through in their history and everything. But at the same time, it's a little kid. They're not very like conspicuous unless they're like, I don't know, something goes down or whatever. And then let's see, that's hard. Honestly, I'm just gonna go back to Queen of the Damned and say Lestat, because he's doing his thing and he's just a frontman of a new metal band, and that's awesome. And he's wearing
I do like that.
he's wearing like the mesh and the leather pants, and you could see his like nipples through it. I thought it was hilarious. He's just having
why not?
fun.
If you're a vampire and nothing can kill you, why not?
Why not, man? He probably doesn't get cold either.
What do you think about vampires? Like on like a scale of 1 to 10, how real do you think vampires are or ever were? In the very specific Hollywood sense of like drinking blood and living for hundreds of years and things like that.
Oh, part of me wants to say like 10, absolutely. Is it? I mean, Nicolas Cage is actually kind of a real life vampire, right? It all comes back.
Still out on that. We won't know until he dies, and it doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
Oh, he's gonna live for a long time. It's funny, because he does actually reside in Vegas, and he's out and about and kind of around. My mom actually saw him in a vegetarian restaurant up in Summerlin here in Vegas, which was wild. And he was wearing a jacket. I believe he was wearing a jacket owned by John Lennon. Either that or like a really pink like motorcycle jacket, something like that. But I guess for Nicolas Cage, I would say a 10. I want to believe.
What about if we get away from like specific peoples, right? Do you think that there's a magic power inherent in blood? Like, do you think blood magic is real?
Oh my God. Do I think blood magic is real? Here's the thing. I'm a very open person, and I never want to say, I don't have any specific religion or spirituality. And when you look at like older cultures and or not even older cultures, but just different cultures and more aging cultures and the stuff that they were into and ritual and all of that and all these things that they believed in, I don't know. I'll just say yes. I'm open to it being out there in existence. Why not?
What about like, I guess the concept of Hollywood and blood magic, and have you heard of like the spirit cooking parties where they'll, like Lady Gaga will be there, and what do you think is going on there? Do you think those are just like artsy, like look at me events, or do you think that there's something happens after all the cameras go away?
I think it's both, because I don't know Lady Gaga. I don't know what she'd be doing. But those parties, I definitely think, no, definitely. It's all initiation stuff. It's all ritual stuff. Not all of it. Some of it, it's just fun. Look at me, I'm a celebrity and I'm wearing like fancy clothes or whatever. But I have heard about a lot of really fucked up initiation stuff happening. And what was it?
Let's speculate.
Those pictures that when Alex Jones, weirdly enough, snuck into one of those parties and they were like burning an effigy or something. I think that pretty much solidified that. And then just because I've seen a couple of those videos from like survivors from child abuse, child trafficking rings, and what they've talked about in initiation and ritual stuff, and concerning powerful people. And that's why you can't name drop anybody, and everything's connected and everything. So definitely, they're definitely doing all that stuff. Powerful people who we don't even know about. You know, it's just like we see the people who we see, but we see them because they want to be seen. What about the people who don't, who are just working behind the scenes of that and all that? I think it goes down pretty deep.
Let's say that you get like a little special, black envelope, unmarked invite, and it's like, Chai Simone, you're invited. We saw you're going to make a movie. We've got this spirit cooking party, and here's the address, here's the date. Do you show up? And if you do show up, how long do you stay? Like, I want to know beat by beat, like what's going through your mind.
Hell the fuck no.
You don't go at all?
Mm-mm. No, I would not go. I would
being hosted by like the Obamas and the Trumps and the Clintons and just everybody, all sides of both aisles. You're just like, I'm gonna snub it. I'll raise the money on Kickstarter.
No, I would absolutely be like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is crazy. But I am, so other than like what a crazy, like, creepy situation that would be, I'm actually a person who does not flock to like well-known, well-off people. I don't know, there have been times working in Vegas, or when I've been up in Sundance, you see celebrities and people go, oh my god, one time I saw Daniel Radcliffe standing about to go skiing at a shuttle bus, and you see everyone like flocking to him. I'm not like that. I'm just like, I'm gonna let you be over there. I honestly don't know who you are, and I don't care. And that's where I'm at. So if it was a whole thing where it's just like, oh, you get to go to a party with all these celebrities and all of that, unless it was like open to the public, I would not go.
Let's say it's Daniel Radcliffe and he's all by himself. You're not even like, hey, you're Harry Potter. I see you. Sign this.
Oh, God.
Is there something about living in Las Vegas and growing up in Las Vegas? Do you see like an inordinate amount of celebrities while you're living there?
I think they're just kind of around. It's not like, they're everywhere, all over the place, but you do see people here and there. And I have worked industry now for a couple of years as an adult. I've been a cigar hostess, which was wild. I did not last very long. It's a very
what's a cigar? I mean, I know what a hostess is, and I know what a cigar is. Is that literally you just walk up to people and say, which cigar would you want? And you get it and you bring it to them?
Yeah, no, I was the lady with the tray. So I have the tray strapped onto me, wearing a black dress. I was dressed like a Mormon going to a funeral, and just like a fancy little thing. And I worked at one of the shittier casinos on the Strip, which was Bally's. It's something different now, so I can say that. But I would just do laps all around. I would get my miles in. And I would just go cigars, cigarettes, vapes, lighters, and then I would just be yelling that for 8 hours. Not a great job. It was shit.
Did you ever smoke cigars while you're doing that? Do you smoke cigars now?
I have smoked vapes while I've been on the floor, as a form of self-advertisement. And also, just making the most out of just walking around, staring at people, waiting for someone to buy my stuff, just passing the time by. But then they ended up saying that we couldn't do that. So we're actually not allowed to smoke our own stuff or any other stuff while we're on the floor.
How do you know a mark? Like, how would you see a mark when you're like, oh, this dude's gonna totally buy a cigar?
Well, yeah. Usually it's the middle-aged men who are gambling. The ones that are in a good mood, though. You don't want to go up to the ones that are in a bad mood, losing money or anything, and their head is in their hands. You don't want to go up to those. You want to go up to the ones that have energy.
Pro tip: just keep your head in your hands so no one like comes by and asks you for shit.
Literally, yeah. But I just float around the tables and stuff, and then I would also get calls from the dealers and stuff, or the pit bosses, and they'd be like, "Hey, this person in this section wants a cigarette or a cigar or whatever." Not the most impressive job ever, but you meet
thing you saw. Well, like working on the floor of a casino.
One of the craziest things. Well, I was robbed while working, and I was having a bad day, so I actually made a whole scene about it. So this drunk guy, I think he was also on like Quaaludes or something. He was just far out. And he comes up to me. He's just like, kind of waving his head and all of that, kind of swaying. And I'm like, hey, man, like, do you want any cigarettes? And he's just like, and he just takes my cigarettes, takes my shit, and then just starts walking off. I'm like, ooh. I'm like, sir, you got to pay for that. And then what ends up happening is we end up getting into a chase, and I'm cussing him out through the entire casino, and I'm making an entire scene because I'm pissed off. I've been having a bad day. And his name was Craig. And turns out he'd been trying to lift and steal from the shops. My cat's screaming outside. That's Lucifer.
Lucifer. Wow.
Yeah. We call him Lucy or Bubba's. But yeah, no, I ended up seeing him again the day after. I look at him and then I call the cops on his ass. So then he officially got arrested. But they didn't do anything about that. That and just like really crazy people. You see people on drugs, you see, really drunk people. Probably one of the worst things about the job was the dueling pianos. Just because they kept like every night they would sing Benny and the Jets, and you hear just like 40 middle-aged white people every night screaming, Benny! 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 Every night. So that was a pain in the ass, but
I'm like nodding my head even as you're making fun of it. I'm like, man, this is awesome. I feel great right now. I'm in like a better mood. Just you saying
oh
that.
my God.
Awesome.
that oh no, I can't. No, that song, I get triggered now. High key. I'm like, I can't. It brings me back to just that every single night. That and Sweet Caroline. Bum bum bum. That every night. And then just people staring at you, people yell at you. Because they're all drunk, they're all gambling. Most of them are unhappy. They're not happy about losing money because a lot of the tourists that come here don't know that when you gamble, you actually aren't supposed to win. So they get pissy about that.
Wait, what?
Pretty.
That was not in the brochure.
No, I guess not. people get really, really mad. I'm just like, well, sorry, this is what you came for, dude. The house always wins. House always wins. That's what you got to know when you come to.
Have you ever just like put like a $5 in a machine and like got a car?
No, I wish I could really use another car. Oh, a Nissan Maxima sounds really good, but I actually don't gamble. I see, growing up in Vegas in the industry and just seeing all of that, I'm just desensitized to it. I'm uninterested, and I see how it affects people, and I'm just like, I'd rather drink. If I'm gonna bust money on anything, I'd rather have fun, drink, go see concerts, and all that.
No one ever has a bad time in Vegas if they're drinking. I think that's a fact. There's never been anyone having a bad time.
A lot of them have a really bad time getting drunk here because a lot of people are ragers, especially when they don't think that they need to drink water in 100-degree weather while carting a yard daiquiri around. I've seen drunk people throw tantrums when I worked at a sweet store at the Link Promenade on the Strip. I've seen I've seen them get angry about us not having the flavor they wanted, getting drunk. I've seen people passed out in the middle of the Las Vegas Boulevard, like actual tourists with like a yard drink in their hand. I've seen like a middle-aged mom just flat on the ground with her face down, just passed out. And I'm like, it's just another day. Vegas is crazy. It's definitely not for everyone. But most of us, I think, are pretty used to the chaos here and just the influx and diversity of people that we see every day.
Where were you at when the Vegas shooting happened? Were you in Vegas?
I was, and I was still going to college. I actually know people who were working that event. I think I know where this conversation's going. But no, thankfully I was home. But we heard about it through the news. I don't know. It was like one of the last years I think I was living with my parents too, while I was going to college. And yeah, we saw it on the news as it was going down or as they were reporting on it.
How it's related. It sounds like a tangent, but how old were you when 9/11 happened?
Oh my God. One.
Okay. So I was gonna ask you how it compared, but I guess the comparison might not be that impactful. But so when the Vegas shooting happened though, like what was the change in attitude in everyone? And how long did it last?
So I think it's a general American attitude nowadays, especially in Vegas, where we do have a lot of crime. We mostly, in my experience, we have just mostly down to earth people who are just getting by. It's a real city. You have real people just doing their jobs, going about their day. Not everyone's a stripper, But when the shooting happened, there was definitely that realization where it was just like, I think growing up, we all knew that it could happen because we were seeing it, here and there with school shootings and club shootings and churches and all of that. And, every now and then I would think about it. I'm like, we get so many people here. And there is a lot of crime due to the tourism, because a lot of people can come in and I don't know, there's different crime industries at work. And then there's also the, individuals who think that they can just do whatever they want and all of that. But the Mandalay Bay shooting was something different just because we were getting so much information, but there was also a lot of stuff that wasn't being said or coming out. And there was a lot of confusion, like a lot. So when it happened, a lot, like we all pretty much rallied together. Security was different in that I guess at the time they would up security, especially at Mandalay Bay. I think they bag check. I'm not exactly sure. Concerts are different here, at least the arena concerts. But I think it has gotten a little bit more lax just because I did start working industry not too long after that, like maybe a year or two after that happened. And, not all the places have the best security. A lot of casinos just hire people and they can't touch anybody or anything like that unless you absolutely have to. But yeah, and like I said, I have coworkers who were working the event, the country concert or the country festival that was going on. And those people were shot and everything. And my husband who works at a day club, he also knows people who were literally shot. So we definitely have this more collective sense of this PTSD. There have been instances where I've been at the Sand Dollar and they have this shitty door that slams shut and it sounds exactly like a gunshot. And you will see everyone in the club just jump and everything. So it's definitely, in our collective consciousness here, especially because we also just had the UNLV shooting. And that was really heartbreaking because it happened not that long ago. I know people who go to UNLV. I used to go to UNLV, and we were just all trying to get updates as they could give those to us. We were getting in for like all sorts of information and just trying to make sure everybody was okay.
Is there, I mean, since you're Vegas native, when you say it's kind of like a unicorn type of thing to be, is of all the other people that you know that are like your Vegas homies, is there a general consensus on with the Vegas shooting that like the official story, more or less makes sense, or is there distrust, or is it just not something that comes up?
It's there's I don't want to speculate a lot just because, the number one priority, of course, is being safe and making sure that, if someone intends to hurt somebody else, it's either prevented or stopped as soon as possible, of course. But from what I've heard from people who actually worked the event, who went to the event, there was more than one shooter. There were ground shooters. And that doesn't really get talked about.
Yeah, I'm not going to go on this rabbit hole too deep because I'll keep it a little bit light. But yeah, it's interesting because I don't know a lot of other Vegas natives. My homie Donut is a Vegas native, I think, and he's got his own theories on this. Oh, that does remind me. What is it like growing up in Vegas as like a teenager? It seems like a surreal thing to grow up in, and it seems like it would just completely warp your mind and make you not even live in the same reality as me, a normal person.
Well, where did you grow up? If you don't mind me asking.
Orlando. Well, I have a combination between New York and South Florida and Central Florida.
Okay. So I've never been to those places. Those are like East. West Coast is something different. But I think being a Vegas native it is a lot of fun. Like growing up here, you have all of the weird experience stuff going on, the casinos. As a little kid, I called them castles, mostly because we have Excalibur, which literally is supposed to look like a castle. And growing up as a kid, it's like everything is super impressive. People get all dressed up. You see all these blinky, shiny lights, and all of that. And you have the normal town stuff outside of that, but we have a lot going on, and we have a lot to do in Vegas, especially now that we have like off-strip experiences like Area 15 and all of that. The city's getting bigger, which is also very weird. Also concerning the traffic. They're trying to turn us into LA, which is terrifying. But yeah, it's I always say, I'm very rooted here in my work and working industry and all of that, because you do end up finding good work here if you try to fit yourself in the right place and everything. And I love a lot of the people who are here. I think it surprises people. We're actually like very down to earth and very grounded. Whenever I go to LA or California, I get like very weirded out by just like how people kind of act differently and everything. I'm not very well traveled, but yeah, it was definitely very fun. And it would like, we actually, like, at least where I grew up, I had the privilege to grow up in very, very diverse schools with all sorts of like different kids. I actually got to go to our art school, Las Vegas Academy for high school, and then downtown in Fremont, or just right there. So after school, I would lie to my mother and I would be like, oh, I'm going to art club. You can pick me up later. But really, I would just be taking my little camcorder and just going around downtown and stupidly like walking through alleyways and stuff and admiring all of the art and the graffiti. Our art scene here is amazing. And yeah, we have a lot of amazing, beautiful things going on in Vegas that a lot of people don't see, but also a lot of people are now trying to capitalize on. So it's very strange. It's very weird.
This is the most normie tourist question ever, but I genuinely want to know, what's the coolest thing you ever saw on Fremont Street?
The coolest thing?
Because I mean, I've been there a few times, and they usually have like weird like light projections over on Fremont and like cool little interactive sort of techy type stuff. But I've never seen anything to like knock my socks. Is it always just kind of like mediocre?
Yeah, that's the beauty of
Yeah,
Fremont.
okay.
That's why
the Fremont experience.
Oh yeah, it's an experience, but you go there to get drunk, basically, and I don't know, do the little zip line thing. I don't ever see myself doing that just because I don't want to have to. So here's the thing with the tourist industry, but also us locals existing here. Typically, as a local, nothing changes for you. Everything is just as expensive. You don't really get a discount or a pass for a lot of things. So it's kind of shitty. So we kind of, stay. You can do the strip thing a couple of times. You could go to Hakkasan or the clubs or whatever. But usually you'll find us in Chinatown or Fremont, downtown, the arts district. You or even, just a PT's, like just a pub or whatever, where, because everything is so damn expensive. But Fremont experience, pretty much, I mean, they have free concerts, which is pretty fun. We had a free Steve Aoki concert there. We have that big overarching screen that they made a whole big deal about. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, is the eye evil? Is that thing gonna like take over Vegas and just start programming people?
Dude, I don't know what was up with that. We were all just like, why did they put the ugliest freaking thing that they could on this gigantic ball? All of the locals were just like, what the fuck is this? And we joke about it this
time, or does it just like totally change up now?
It's they don't do that anymore because so many people complain about it. But it's funny, you can look it up. It's this great account that everyone in Vegas follows called Las Vegas Locally or Vegas Locally. And they post Vegas memes and everything about our culture and just how weird and crazy it is. But there's this thing where when it does turn into an eyeball, or there's, commonly it's like this little emoji smiley face that goes, ooh, and just that. Noise? It doesn't make noise, but it does. Okay. People have taken pictures of it staring at them in their hotel rooms. And that is the creepiest thing that I can't live with that. It's so weird. But I've heard there's also a lot of people who like to trip and then go see the sphere and just stare at it. It's very strange. I still have yet to go there.
It's interesting hearing a Vegas native say that one of the creepiest things you've ever seen living in Vegas is like this eyeball that they just recently put in the middle of the city. Like it wasn't someone getting stabbed in an alley or someone drowning in vomit in Excalibur. It was the eyeball.
We've been there, seen that. People get into all sorts of shit. The eyeball is just fucking annoying, dude. They spent millions of dollars on this. We have a whole underground. Yeah, I'm sure you know about our underground city as well. And our homeless
I've heard of it. I don't know a lot about it though.
Oh my god, dude, it is wild. And I've actually encountered a couple of the encampments or the houseless people who live down there, mostly kind of scattered in Henderson, which is like 30 minutes out from the strip. But yeah, it's wild, and you do not want to go there. It's extremely dangerous, but also very, very fascinating. But like Henderson, right under the underground city. It's if you actually where I used to work, the Link Promenade, that's where I believe that's where one of the openings, you'll see this big water drain, which is also very dangerous. When it rains, we lose a lot of people because people stay down there. But that's where a lot of those networks are centered. And I think there is actually a famous, or like not famous, but like a big Vice documentary that they did on that, where they actually entered at least the outskirts of the underground city with a guide safely. But yeah, no, it's some weird stuff. Huh?
Have you ever been down there?
I have actually done my fair share of drain raiding, which is actually really fun in Vegas, so long as you do it safely and you respect whoever's down there. You always I have done it during the day and at night. It's actually how it was we went drain raiding on our first date, my husband and I. We were both into it. So it's something that,
What
some
does
of us
drain raiding entail? Is there alcohol involved?
sometimes, yeah. It's you bring a twisted tea down there if you want to, but a lot of our parks, or you can even just see them on Google Maps, the waterways turn into tunnels and all of that. So you just walk all the way down the waterway, and sometimes it makes for a nice hike, but then sometimes you get into really weird, creepy spaces. And actually, if you go down there and you're not bothering anybody, we always say, you got to keep an ear out. We bring protection just in case, anyone isn't right in the head or anything and charges at us or whatever, as above, so below situation. But you can find a lot of fascinating stuff down there, where sometimes you step into a tunnel and you're walking for like 10 minutes and then it starts looking a lot like Silent Hill. Or you can find really, really cool art and graffiti and like altars and weird posters of people. And I've seen all sorts of things. Some of them open up and they're really big and spacious, and you just, you go echo and all of that. But no, it's a really fun thing. I don't do it as much anymore just because there are more encampments happening and a lot more houselessness affecting the area. So I choose now not to possibly bother people down there. And it's not as safe.
Do you think there's anything other than just like homeless people down there? Do you think that there's like government agents? Do you think that there's like, rich people with like bunkers?
Mm-hmm. Have you heard of the Tesla tunnels?
No. I mean, no.
Oh, that started. And they were actually hiring for it, but I was like, I don't want to have to direct traffic. But and I guarantee you a majority, I know of one person who my husband knows who works down in the Tesla tunnels, but basically it's this whole network of just rideshare, but Tesla. And I think it's mostly for, people who are spending money or whatever. And it's Elon Musk kind of stretching his legs out when he was talking about the whole, widespread rideshare thing, where a Tesla just comes by, picks you up, drops you off, goes to the next person on its own kind of thing. I'm not entirely familiar with how all of that works. They make really good money down there. I'm pretty sure right now it's mostly rich people who do all of that. But I guarantee you a majority of locals either don't know that exists, or like don't know where it even is. Like, we know it's like in the strip somewhere. We don't know how to access it. It's something that just happened all of a sudden. So if they can do that, and it's also like there's the long, very, public history of how casinos are run by the mob, the mafia, and different crime industries and all of that. And a lot of the city does run on crime, and a lot of varieties of crime. So I don't see.
I just want to be clear. Crime is one of the sponsors of this show, so we don't want to talk disparagingly about our sponsors. Shout out crime.
Kids.
Do crime.
Do crime. Some crime we support our 305s here. I'm gonna say that. For sure. We protect our 305s here. But yeah, no, you have sex workers. So we do protect our prostitutes here. They are very, very.
Are you like a bodyguard?
I have had to be a bodyguard, but sometimes it feels like it. I do know people who do have done sex work, and maybe they're in that kind of certain aspects of the industry. And then when I'm with them, I just try to make sure that they're safe and all of that. And then, working in the casinos, every now and then you'll spot a girl walking around. A young woman, usually she's by herself or she's with one or two other women. And I don't know, I think being a local now and knowing some of those people, you can clock them. So we always look out for them. We always try to protect them and make sure that they're okay. And honestly, I'd protect them in any means possible, even like legally. I'd just be like, just like watch out, don't go to this place, I don't know. It's just this kind of thing. It's Vegas is hypocritical because we scream, sin and sex, and we have our I don't think we call it the Diamond District, but just like the stripper district. We have a whole district dedicated to strip clubs in all of those experiences. But then, prostitutes or sex workers are not super protected, if at all, by the state. They're prosecuted, they're not protected, and all of these things. So we always try to keep an eye out for them, or at least me and my community do. But to go back to your question, yep, I definitely, if you look at the hierarchy, like if you've ever, you've been to the casinos and everything, it's wild how they operate. Literally, you could go to one of the casinos on the strip and there will be thousands, if not tens, I don't think tens of thousands, but thousands of people just working there alone, not even the tourists. So there's this whole crazy hierarchy of like the corporations that work there, and then I don't know, just the weird, it goes like really, really deep, with some really, really powerful people. There's a lot of rich people who man casinos, who are in casinos and that business and everything. So I don't see why they couldn't build
Vegas could exist without them. Like without those rich guys running the casinos and the rich guys losing money in the casinos. Like what? Let's say casinos all get up and leave. They're like, you know what? We're sick of polluting society with like all of this gambling. We're just gonna, we're just gonna head home. What happens to Vegas? Does it just turn into like a nuclear wasteland?
In my opinion, it would for a lot of people. A lot of people. If say you were removing the casino aspect, like the gambling aspect from casinos, and it was just like experience adult playground land, we'd be fine, because that whole industry just runs on the tourism. Tourism is experiences and getting drunk. That's the gist or the heart of it.
Let's say you remove all the hedonism. Let's say no one's allowed to do sex, drugs, or drinking in Vegas. Like what would be the industry that would emerge there?
Yeah. I think oh God, I think it would be awful. Maybe not in that it would turn into a wasteland necessarily, but also it would, just because of how I only just recently learned about this, but how corporations are buying up the housing market, and prices are going up for houses. I think we get I think the classes would be kind of split. I think a lot of people would be left hanging, and a lot of people would be left basically looking for cheaper properties and having to move and relocate and all this stuff. And then I think because I can also kind of see it, we do see it happening, where there is this kind of upheaval. There is some I don't know if I want to go as far as saying gentrification, but it's pretty much gentrification happening in Vegas, with properties getting more expensive, more people coming to live here, thinking that it's not going to be that expensive because we don't pay state tax and we do have cheaper properties. But I think overall it would just become way more expensive way faster. And I think a lot of people would have to either move or be forced to relocate or just be homeless altogether. That's my theory.
Or move into the tunnels, maybe?
Maybe, probably. The tunnels, I mean, as far as I've heard, the tunnels are already really crowded, to the point where Henderson in Vegas is one of the nicer parts for the most part. And then we're seeing more encampments out here. So it'd be bad. Bad.
Have you ever seen Demolition Man?
Oh, I haven't.
You haven't. It's
Is
like
that
a late 90s movie. What's that?
No, who is that
Stallone,
with?
Wesley Snipes. They get frozen. I highly recommend it, because the more you describe this like the tunnel cities, like that's basically the premise in Demolition Man, that all the rich people live above ground and everyone else that doesn't want to play in like this kind of fancy society all live underground in these tunnels. And that ends up being like the only place you can get a burger, the only place you can get a beer. And like it's like underground Vegas versus above ground Salt Lake City.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I might watch that after this actually.
I highly recommend it.
I just be watching
my
movies.
absolute favorite movie of all time, and I'm not even exaggerating.
Whoa. Okay. I'll have to definitely check it.
But it's my favorite movie.
Hey, you like what you like.
Normally I pull up someone's page and just go through like some cool projects. I tried pulling your page up and I just wanted to, you probably already know this. But I get like an age restriction on your page. And then it says CY and it says we've received a legal request to restrict this content. We reviewed it and it's against our policies and conducted a legal and human rights assessment. Did you know that Instagram has conducted a legal and human rights assessment against your page? Is this news to you?
I have gotten no. This is news to me. What the fuck?
If I log in, I can go to your page. But if I go to it like anonymously, it just straight up says someone reported you. Yeah. So
okay.
But anyways,
that does make sense.
If anyone wants to follow, this is your art account on Instagram.
Yes. Yeah.
And
now my only account.
A picture of here. You're bathing in blood. Can you just describe why you're bathing in blood? Why do you want to go directly to hell? Why don't you love Jesus?
Because it's fun. That's all.
Is that all?
It was actually really, really fun. It's just fun. Dude, I actually didn't want to get out of the tub. I was just having too much fun.
Wait, now what is that?
It was a great time. And that was
is that corn syrup and red dye, or did you actually kill a human being in order to take that picture?
It was actually delicious. So my friend, she's a makeup artist. Actually, Lourdes. Lourdes is also a makeup artist, and she did all of the makeup for our movie. Super, super talented. But she makes her blood out of corn syrup and red food dye, and chocolate syrup. So it's actually like really freaking delicious. Just very, very sticky.
Do you think that makes you a poser that you're not using real blood?
Probably.
You know,
I don't
know. They can tell when they see the pictures. They're like, they're not even using real blood. What are they doing?
When you're bathing in blood, or you're just in blood once a month, every month, you know, I think I'm good. I'm good with the chocolate syrup, you know.
You get enough of the real thing. Sometimes it's fun to play fantasy.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. And actually have it not be smelly. It smell like iron.
So I've got a little segment that I run, but before that segment, I just said, you have to know the game Fuck, Marry, Kill, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
love that game.
Can you break down right now Fuck, Marry, Kill? And for anyone that's listening, we've got a picture of Marceline from Adventure Time. We've got Wesley Snipes' Blade, and we've got the Count from Sesame Street. So
okay,
what's your scores here?
Okay, okay. So it's kind of tough. I know I'm gonna kill the Count. He annoys me. I think he serves no purpose. I don't like counting. I hate math. Like, he can get the fuck away from me.
How do you kill him? Anything specific?
With a steak, garlic, I don't know. Normal vampire things, or I could light him on fire. He is a puppet. I'm sure he's very flammable. Moths,
okay,
that would be interesting. The Count is out of here, so the Count's dead. Kill the Count. And then this is a tough one. I think I would I would fuck Blade, because he seems like, I mean, look, he's fine. Wesley Snipes is as Blade is fine. You know he's
dude,
at
Demolition Man. I'm telling you, he's even cooler looking as Simon Phoenix. He wears Oshkosh Bagosh with like one of them unstrapped, like classic 90s style.
Oh
He's
my
got like
god.
bleached blonde hair. It's sick.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yes. So definitely definitely fuck Blade. And then marry best girl Marceline. I think I could fix her.
I think that I agree with you on all counts, and even all of the reasonings. I don't know how I would kill Count. I feel like I'd come up with something more elaborate, but setting a puppet on fire feels practical.
That would be, honestly, it would be hilarious. Like, don't hug me, I'm scared style. I don't know, just something evil.
Okay, here we go. Final segment of the show.
Hey, conspiracy buffs, I double dare you to take some PCP, the Paranormal Conspiracy Probe. On your marks, get set, and go!
Okay, rules are super easy. We already did one of them. I want you to rate from 1 to 10 how much you believe in something. We already went over vampires, I believe, and you gave it a 10, and you gave a good example why. So 1 to 10, and we're just going to go down a list. Bigfoot.
Mm-hmm. Ooh. 5.
Dinosaurs. Like Tyrannosaurus Rex.
9.
How about fire-breathing flying dragons?
10.
At any point in history. Okay, 10.
Yes.
What about Loch Ness Monster?
Oh, 10. 10, 10, 10.
What about chupacabras?
Ooh. 6.
Just a 6. What
Just a
about
6.
Mothman? Have you heard of Mothman?
Oh, I love Mothman. I want him to be real. Just because I can just make myself delusional. I'll say an 8.
Okay. 1 to 10. Humans have been on the moon in the last 100 years.
Oh shit. I'm gonna say I'm gonna say a 7.
So this one plays into that, and it might influence it. But 1 to 10, the world is flat.
1.
What about 1 to 10, the world is hollow?
Ooh. Oh, that's a fun one. Okay. I'm gonna say a 7.
1 to 10, fairies.
Oh. I think it depends on maybe what you're like the Tinkerbell
Let's
kind
do
of
Tinkerbell, like legit Tinkerbell, or maybe even the movie Labyrinth. Have you seen Labyrinth? And he has to like spray the fairies in the garden.
1.
A 1 for fair. What about ghosts?
10.
What about demons?
10.
What about angels?
Ooh. Oh shit. I'll say 9.
Why do angels get 1 less than demons?
I think some of the stuff behind angels, I feel like when someone says like there's a demon, I feel like there's a better chance of there actually being a demon than there is an angel. I feel like when people talk about angels, I feel like it's a good chance that probably it wasn't. But I can get behind that there is that kind of entity, an angel-esque entity out there. Maybe, probably. I don't know.
1 to 10, the official story behind 9/11.
I'm learning a lot, but I'm gonna say a 3.
1 to 10, the official story of the Vegas shooting.
I'm gonna say 1.
Wow, that's actually way lower than I was expecting.
Yep.
And then 1 to 10, that there is a global Illuminati that like basically decides everything.
10.
I like that. I want to understand a little bit more about like the demon, where you say someone is probably talking about a demon. I'm curious on this. You don't have to give it a 1 to 10, but how likely do you think it is? And this is a question I always ask, that you're like a complete atheist, or you don't believe in anything, but you go onto Amazon and you use your credit card to buy like the top 10 how to summon a demon books, and you just like crack at it for like a month or whatever. But you don't actually like harm anyone, you don't like kill any animals, you don't necessarily do anything bad, but you do everything that the books tell you to do, say the words, and you do the little dances and everything. What do you think the chances that someone could actually summon a demon?
I'd say pretty much a 10. Because I know someone who's had actual personal experience that literally it was that situation that you exactly just described. And I'm not even joking.
Would they be willing to repeat that on video for TikTok?
Sure.
I mean, I feel like that might be one of the upcoming little things. I haven't found anyone that's willing to summon a demon with me live on air yet. Everyone's too scared.
Nah. Mm-mm. Not me. I'm that bitch.
You're not that bitch, or you are that bitch?
I am not, because I have experienced things and I have seen things. I've been everything. I grew up with like no kind of spiritual or religious parameters, so I kind of just sampled everything. Tried being religious, I tried being an atheist, and I was an atheist for a really long time. Now I'm just kind of like, I fucks with whatever, whatever happens pretty much. But I have had experiences, and I'm just gonna say my family has this weird, generational trauma, and also having to do with like spirit stuff. So absolutely not. Count me out, bro.
Can you talk about that at all anymore? What kind of weird spirit stuff is in your family's closet?
Oh, well, I mean, first of all, there's just, I think it has some stuff to do with like ancestry and tragedy, because my mother is Jewish and then my dad's Filipino. So on one hand, you have the things that the Jewish people went through, and then on the other,
why you want to go into the tunnel so bad? Do you think it's your Jewish heritage?
Maybe, or maybe I just want to like hide away in the dark and just pretend I'm a little rat. I think it's
a joke, but I had to say it.
I gotta go back. It's calling me. No, probably just I just want to cosplay being a little sewage rat. But definitely there's things that have been carried having to do with relics in my family, like a Bible, where creepy stuff happened around that. Like one time there was a fire, and prior to the fire, this was where my grandma was living, and my grandma is also very spiritual. She definitely has experienced all that stuff. Just how, I don't know, just weird. I think because my grandmother also died somewhat tragically of cirrhosis. She was just a super alcoholic. And I don't think they had a good relationship. So there was just weird stuff happening around that. There was a like knockings and just creepy stuff that happened. Also, when I was a kid, apparently there would be knockings around me and stuff. And then at one point there was a fire and everything burned, but my grandma's Bible, which my mom has to this day, completely unburned. And it has a picture of my great grandma in it. Which is crazy, but also just like, I think it's definitely more personal stuff having to do with my mother that I can't really get into because it is so personal, and it is something that we still struggle with.
We've actually got your mother backstage, and we're gonna bring her out now. I'm just kidding.
Mom? Shit, that would be great, because I'd love for her to speak on it herself, but I won't.
We're gonna ask her about the Vegas shooting of 9/11 first, and then we can get into your personal family stuff. We got important things to talk about.
Oh yeah, we have a lot to talk about. But yeah, no, demons, absolutely. My husband is or was an atheist. And he ended up buying the Necronomicon. and he ended up experiencing some demonic shit, bed shaking and moving, paralysis demons, and just weird shit happening. He ended up throwing the book away, but he was like, I just got it from Barnes and Noble and all of that. But yeah, definitely that shit
All right,
exists.
well, my search will continue for the perfect summoning partner. No one seems to want to do it. I'll take my ball and keep looking.
Oh man, it's gonna be a talk to me situation.
The hand comes up and doesn't want to let go.
Yeah, you do that. Just get prepared to get some new roommates, bud.
Well, I guess my real plan is to like find someone on Fiverr to do the actual demon summoning, and they just record it and then let me brand it. That's kind of the plot here. Like I talk a big game, like I'm gonna summon a demon. What I really mean is I'm gonna contract someone in the Philippines to summon a demon and then let me use their footage, and then it's win-win.
It's win-win. Good luck with that.
Yeah, I appreciate. Well, tell people where they can find you. And another quick shout out to all the projects that you're working on. You've got I'm Everywhere it's a short movie that you're coming out with. Just another meat-eating dirtbag comic book. And then also, so you had a message that says "Help me with my movie." Is that the I'm Everywhere, or is there another project you're working on?
Oh, that's I'm Everywhere right now. Yeah.
So yes, where can people find you, and where can they go to support all of your projects?
Absolutely. So thankfully, I've just narrowed it down to one platform. I'm not on anything else because I cannot handle social media anymore. It's too much work. I am on Instagram. My handle is Limina_1999. Limina, like liminal, but without the L, _1999. The year I was born, and also one of the best years for movies of all time. And see all my weird art stuff. I love doing creative photography, and I have a book. Link is in the bio. Link trees in the bio. And doing more movie stuff soon.
I was going to bring it up, but I got the human rights violation warning again. What exactly are you doing to violate human rights?
But I don't know. I don't know whose rights it is I'm violating.
So here it is. Here's the Instagram page that we're promoting. That apparently is also a human rights violation. So follow carefully. But yeah, we got all sorts of cool music and Photoshop, and here's all the cool artwork that you've been doing. And again, if you like this artwork, you can find some of Chai's artwork in Illuminati issue 3. It's not out yet. It'll be out later this year. I'm going to be doing a Kickstarter campaign that'll have all 4 issues, and you can get foil covers and everything. But if you want to see some more of her artwork, some music, all kinds of stuff, and this is the only place to find her right now. Whoa, my God. Okay, I just saw a human rights violation. That's clearly... See, you're conscious. You know that you're doing horrible things on the internet. Don't pretend like you don't know. Look at that. You got warned.
You know what's funny? That post, you can see it down below. It's literally just a corner of her hair. Just a little bit of her hair that got blocked. I don't know why.
Likely story. The rest of her was bathing in blood, but that's fine.
Mm-hmm. So. No, the blood thing is fine, apparently.
It is weird how they pick and choose like what the AI gets offended over. I feel like the AI is way more sensitive about things that we don't know about. So maybe it saw that little chunk of hair and it like totally triggered a much horrible memory that it had in its memory banks. We're sorry for offending you, AI. Please don't put us back in timeout. We're not doing human rights violations, at least not actively at this exact moment. So thanks again. Chai, look out for more projects, all the links below. And then here's the first time I think I'm playing this Illuminati ad. See you guys. Eyes wide shut, a surreal ball, Rothschild mansion, creepy halls behind every door, a cloaked body. Don't you know this is Illuminati? That we put the naughty in Illuminati. We expose the hot bodies of Illuminati. That we put the naughty in Illuminati. Mind control of your soul, of that body. Yeah.
Are you ready to reveal all there is to see? Esoteric secrets revealed in all of their glory. the Illuminati series from Paranoid American, putting the naughty in Illuminati. More details at paranoidamerican.com.